Welcome to iFour Institute. I am Khushbu, working as .NET software developer in iFour Technolab Pvt Limited. This series is about .NET framework. We would start with basic programming and related topics. In last session, I discussed about responsive design. In this session, I am going to talk about JavaScript. In this session, I am going to cover following points. Introduction to JavaScript, uses of JavaScript, where to use JavaScript, external JavaScript, object hierarchy, JavaScript Objects, JavaScript Events, Datatypes, Operators, Control Structure, Arrays, Functions. Let's start with JavaScript. Now the question to newcomer arises is, what is JavaScript? So have a look. What is JavaScript? JavaScript is a scripting language. It is said to be a client-side language. So it is a lightweight and having a high response time. JavaScript is a programming language for a web, object-based, not object-oriented programming language. All modern HTML pages are using JavaScript. Easy to learn. Most popular programming language in the world. The HTML DOM, the Document Object Model, is the official W3C standard for accessing HTML elements. You can access any of the HTML tag or any of the HTML element using HTML DOM via JavaScript. It can manipulate the DOM, change HTML content. You can change any of the HTML content, any of the HTML tag attributes using JavaScript. One of the method in JavaScript is document.getElement by ID to get an element, HTML element by ID. Now, from where did JavaScript came from? So let me answer this. It came from Netscape, originally called LiveScript at Netscape. It used for server-side scripting for providing database connectivity and dynamic HTML generation. Netscape decided it would be a good thing for their browsers and servers to speak the same language, so it's not included in Navigator. Because of rapid acceptance by a web community, Microsoft forced to include in IE browser. Uses of JavaScript. There are some of the uses, that is change HTML element. You can change any of the HTML element using a JavaScript. For example, I already told in previous slide, that is document.getElement by ID, document.getElement by tag name, .class name. Text animation is another use. Graphic animation is another. Client-side form data validation, that is relieving the server of this task. If you want to give a required field validation to any of the text box, then it can easily done with JavaScript. You can also give a regex pattern for your text box client, which is also possible using a JavaScript. If you want to compare two fields, for example, if you want to compare password and retype password, it can also be possible using a client-side JavaScript. Create new HTML elements. You can create a new HTML elements and append it to HTML body. Copy and clone HTML elements. You can copy and clone the HTML elements using a JavaScript. Delete HTML elements. You can also delete HTML elements or any of the tag attributes you want to delete. Website navigation. You can also do a website navigation using a JavaScript. Later I will show this in example. Now, next is where to use JavaScript. In HTML, JavaScript can be put in body, but can't be put in body, but in the head section between script and /script tag. To insert a JavaScript into an HTML page, use script tag. Script and /script tells where the JavaScript start and the ends. The lines between a script and /script contains the JavaScript code. You can see here an example, script, language and source. The script tag indicates to the browser the beginning of embedded script, and /script indicates the end of an embedded script. The language attribute indicates the script processor to be used. The source attribute indicates the URL of a file on the server containing the script to be embedded. Now let's see how to use external JavaScript. Put the name of a script file in a source attributes of the script tag. You can place an external script reference in head or a body. Remember, file extension for a JavaScript is .js. Here you can see script can be placed in external files. External scripts are practical when same code is used in many different web pages. JavaScript files have a file extension .js. It is very necessary for file extension to be a .js to behave as a JavaScript. To use an external script, put the name of a script file in the source attribute of the script tag, that is a path where this actual external JavaScript is located. You can place an external script reference in head or body as you like. The script will behave as if it was located exactly where you put the reference in the HTML document. Now have a look to the basic object hierarchy of a JavaScript. You can see here window, that means a window of a web page, have a 4 hierarchy, that is history, document, location and link. You can see again document is divided into link, anchor, layer, form, applet, image and area. Again form have text, radio button, file, upload, select. So text have 3 types, that is text, text area or a password. Button are of 3 types, that is reset and submit. Radio button are of 2 types, that is radio and checkbox. Select have another attribute called option. Let's see the brief description about each object. Window, that is current browser window. Window.history, that is Netscape history list. Window.document, the HTML document currently in the browser client area. Window.location, the browser location field. Window.toolbar, that is the browser toolbar. Window.document.link, an array containing all of the links in the document. Window.document.anchor, an array of all the anchor points in the document. Window.document.layer, a named document layer. Window.document.applet, a named Java applet area. Window.document.image, a named image tag. Window.document.area, a named area. Window.document.form, a named form or the default form, etc. Few examples. Window.location. Using a JavaScript, if you want to redirect your page to some another page, then you can use window.location. This will take you to, here you can see www.yahoo.com. So this will take you to Yahoo site. If you want to go back from a current page to previous page, you can use window.history.back. If you want to go back to a first page from where you started, then you can use window.history.go-to-1. Now let's see how and where to use these events. There are some of the events, that is on abort, on blur, on change, on click, on error, on focus, on load, on mouse out, on mouse over, on reset, on select, on submit, on unload. When some picture is loading, you can cancel it at that time. This event is called. If I want a alert message on abort, then I can write like this. Another one is on blur. When an object loses the focus, this event is called. It is basically used with a select, text area, text for the data validation. On change, when element exiting value change at that time, this event is called. See this example. In this example, when value of color change at that time, this event is called. On error, when some error generated, this event is called. It used for preventing users from seeing JavaScript generated error. Setting window.onError equal to null will prevent user from seeing JavaScript generated errors. Now on click, when user click on any object, this event is called. Like when you click on button, checkbox, link, radio, reset and submit, this event is called. For example, you can here see input type button, value equal to click me, and on click I just want an alert message that is button was clicked. So on click of button it will fire an alert message. On focus, when any object gets focused, this event fires. Suppose using tab or mouse, user selected button or text box as a result, it will fire this event. Used with frame, select text area and window object, just the opposite of on blow, that is invoked when the object gets focused. On load, it used with window, frame and image objects while it loading to a window. For example, you can see here, I want an animation, so I just generated a function start animation. On mouse out and on mouse over. So on mouse out, when from any anchor link mouse focus out, this event fires, and on mouse over, when an anchor link mouse over, this event fires. Used with area and link objects, user moves mouse off an area or link. For example, you can see here. On reset of form fields, this event called. Used with form objects, if I want a default state of all the elements in form, then I can use this method as well, this function as well. On select, whenever a user selects a piece of text in a text or a text area object, this event is called. Used with text and text area. Run some JavaScript whenever a user selects a piece of text in a text or text area object. For example, you can see here, input type equal to text name, input type equal to text, name equal to line. On select, show help. Show help is a function which is created in a script tag. On submit. Now suppose user fill up the student detail form, then click on submit button. At that time, this event is called. Basically used for validating all the fields. On unload, when user exits from a window or a frame, this event is called. Now let's see JavaScript data types. You don't have to declare the type of variable in JavaScript. This type will get determined automatically when the program is being processed according to the type of value assigned to it. Dynamic typing, that is JavaScript is a loosely typed or dynamic language. That means you don't have to declare the type of the variable ahead of time, which I already told you. The type will get determined automatically while the program is being processed. So when program is being initialized, it will, on basis of its value, it determine its type. For example, here you can see there is variable foo equal to 42. So variable foo will behave as a number, that is integer. Variable foo equal to bar. So here variable foo will behave as a string. Variable foo equal to true. Here foo will behave as a boolean. The latest ECMA script standard defines 7 data types. 6 data types that are primitives: boolean, null, undefined, number, string, symbol, that is new in ECMA script 6. And object. JavaScript numeric operators are plus, minus, asterisk, slash and percentage, which is just a reminder operator, which is not the same as modulo. Values are assigned using equal to, and there are also compound assignments such as plus equal to and minus equal to. If you want to compare two variables, then double equal to is used. X plus or equal to 5 is x equal to x plus 5. Both are the same. You can use plus plus and minus minus to increment and decrement respectively. This can be used as a prefix or postfix operators. The plus operator also does string concatenation. For example, variable a equal to hello plus variable plus world, it will return hello world. If you add a string to a number or other value, everything is converted into a string first. For example, if you are doing 3 in a string plus 4 plus 5, then 4 and 5 will behave as a string. If you do 3 plus 4 plus in inverted commas 5, then first two will behave as integer, that is 7. Then it will behave as a string. Comparison in JavaScript can be made using a less than, greater than, less than equal to, greater than equal to. This works for both strings and numbers. Equality is a little less straightforward. The double equals operator performs type correction if you give it different types with sometimes interesting results. For example, 1, 2, 3 equal to string of 1, 2, 3 is true. 1 equal to true, then it will return true. To avoid type correction and make sure your comparison always accurate, you should always use the triple equal operator. 1, 2, 3 equal to in inverted comma 1, 2, 3 will return false because one side it is a string and one side it is a integer. 1 double equal to true will also return false. JavaScript control structure. JavaScript has a similar set of control structure to other languages in the C family. Conditional statements are supported by if and else. You can chain them together if you like. For example, variable name equal to kittens. If name equal to pup, double equal to puppies, then name plus or plus equal to exclamation mark. Another is else if statement for kittens. If it is a kittens, then name should append with double exclamation mark. Else, name should append with single exclamation mark plus name. The switch statement can be used for multiple branches based on number or a string. For example, you can see here. If you don't add a break statement, execution will fall through to the next level. This is very rarely what you want. In fact, it's worth specifically labeling deliberate fall through with a comment if you really meant it to aid debugging. JavaScript's for loop is the same as that in C and Java. It lets you provide the control information for your loop on a single line. For variable I equal to 0, I less than 5 and I plus plus, it will execute 5 times from 0 to 5. JavaScript also contains two other prominent for loops. For let value of array, do something with value. And for let property in object, do something with object property. These are two other prominent for loops. There are two basic ways to create an empty object. Variable object equal to new object, you can also create like this, or variable object equal to bracket braces open braces close. There are semantically equivalent. The second is called object literal syntax and is more convenient. This syntax is also the core of JSON format and should be preferred at all the times. Object literal syntax can be used to initialize an object in its entirety. For example, you can see here. Now JavaScript arrays. A special type of object, they work very much like regular objects. Numerical properties can naturally be accessed using square bracket syntax, but they have one magic property called length. This is always one more than a highest index in the array. One way of creating array is as follow. You can see here variable a equal to new array, a of 0, a of 1, a of 2 till what you want, till and numbers you can add. Here a dot length is 3. A more convenient notation to use an array literal is if you want to describe array, then you can also use like this in a square brackets. It will also have length equal to 3. JavaScript functions along with object functions are core component in understanding JavaScript. The most basic function couldn't be much simpler. For example, here you can see I just made a function add and two parameters, that is x and y. What I want is I want to return a third variable total having a x plus y. So it will return me a total of x and y. If it can take a 0 or more named parameter, function can take 0 or more named parameter. Function body can contain as many statements as you like and can declare its own variable which are local at that function. You can also use if-else statements, which statements, any of the statements in a function. The return statement can be used to return a value at any time terminating the function if no return statement is used. Here you can see if I call the add function without a parameter, then it will return me a name. You can't perform addition on undefined. Second, if I will pass more than 2 parameters, then it will act with just first two parameters. X is equal to 2 and y equal to 3. Added the first two. We already learnt about a JavaScript. Now let me show you an example for a JavaScript. Here you can see on a body part I have an image source, that is collegeofmusic.jpg, name equal to image. On mouse over I am just adding image.setAttribute class red. So in my style tag you can see here there is a class red having a border red, and on mouse out I want class blue, that is border blue. I am just adding another alter tag, image not found. Now you can again see here there is another input type text having id 1 which have value do not change. On change I just made a function test. Here you can see in this function test what I do is I just want alert message to print, that is do not change. Document.get element by id 1.value should always be do not change. Okay, and another on page load, when this function is called, after after completion of this function test, you can see here just I added a set timeout. So document have a bg color white for first 1000 seconds. After 1500 it should be a light pink. After 2000 that should be a pink, deep pink, red, tomato and dark red. You can see here I just made a simple set timeout function. Okay, now I'm going to run this application. Here you can see image not found. Okay, on hovering image it is blue and red. Again I'm running this application. You can see here blue, red, blue, red, blue and red. Suppose I am changing this tag. Now what will happen? You can see it fired alert message. This is just a simple demo example for a JavaScript. Now let's move to another example. Here you can see I have a two input that is for a first name and second one is for last name. I'm just writing here for our understanding, that is first name, this is last name. Two text boxes, first name and last name. Third one is a button. On click, I just made a function test2 and there is a paragraph tag having id result1. In function f test2, I take a variable f underscore name having stored the document element having a id f underscore name. Similarly, another variable storing an element by id l underscore name. Now I am having a third variable employee object. How I am using this object? You can see first name as a name. In that, value should be fname.value. So this tag have a value attribute having a value. It means whatever you type, it will be stored in a value, and this value is stored in this first name. Similarly for last name, what I want is the result1, that is a paragraph tag having id result1, should have a inner HTML. That is a HTML tag should be a first name employee.firstname, that is object employee having name having property first name. Similarly, object employee having property last name. Now let me run this application. I am just now writing Khushbu Shah. I am clicking here. You can see here the paragraph tag having a first name Khushbu and last name Shah. We have done this using a JavaScript. Now again here are two text box having id x1 and id x2. What I want is whatever I write in this two text box must be merged and displayed in our paragraph tag having id result1. Now here you can see I stored taken a two variable and stored this both x1 and x2 here. Now what I want is just merging two tags. I'm just adding a little bit a space between a two tag. Now let me run this application. Here I am writing good and morning. I'm clicking here. It just displayed merging two tags, that is good morning. Hopefully you enjoyed this session. Thank you for watching.